afternoon.
What a lovely opportunity to come in out of the heat. My name is Frank Erath. I'm the president of Shakespeare 70 and the director of the show that you're going to see this afternoon. Thank you. This show marks the beginning of Shakespeare 70's 56th season. A record we're really very proud of. All started back there literally in 1970, out there on the bare, it was a really bare stage at Washington Crossing Park. Some of you may remember those good old days out there in communing with nature, performing. We had frogs in the pond and mosquitoes. Raccoon lived under the costume house. It was a unique experience. And theater outside is fun, but theater inside is maybe more fun because you can stay cool. There aren't any bugs, and no motorcycles, no airplanes. Although I have to tell you, on Friday night we had fireworks. Somewhere over there, somebody was having perhaps an early 4th of July celebration. Not the greatest kind of thing to have right in the middle of some really important information that was going on the stage. Anyway, a couple of quick announcements. Be sure to recognize the exit signs in case of the need for a quick departure. There are also exit signs at the top of the house for those of you sitting up in the peanut gallery. Anybody remember the peanut gallery? Yeah. Okay. Second announcement, the show that will follow us in here is Meet Me in St. Louis, or Louis, depending on where you live and what your preferred pronunciation of that word is. Someone might also remember there was a movie a long time ago that Judy Garland was in, a musical. Yeah, it was a fun movie. Yeah. Oh yeah, third thing. Oh, here it is. Should it be remotely possible that any of you has a device like this in your possession at this moment? No. If it's in the car, that's great. But if it's on your person, would you kindly do something to render it inoperable? That means if you could silence it, please, so it doesn't become a distraction for the actors. And we certainly thank you for that. Oscar Wilde was a very successful playwright. He'd written a number of plays that had enjoyed performances on the London stage for years and years and years. Come to a certain point in his life when he was desperately out of pocket. He needed money. Some of you may know he had a lot of legal problems, and he needed to pay off his lawyers. He went to a friend of his who was an actor-manager named George Alexander, and he said, you know, if I write a play, would you put it up? And George said, well, yeah, what kind of a play you got in mind? Gave him a thumbnail sketch and mentioned casually to Mr. Alexander that there would be a really good part in it for him. Yes, and so he wrote Earnest to see if he could make him some money and begin to be able to pay off his debts. Earnest was a huge success in its time, and for 130 years now, it's continued to be one of the most frequently played pieces of drama in the English language. So this is what we bring you this afternoon, but we need to have your help to do this. So the first step is, since Oscar Wilde wrote about his time, about the place he lived, the people he knew, the situation that existed. So if you will now really work hard and cast your minds back in time, okay? You gotta work at this. Okay? Back, come on. 1925. 1910. There's somebody up there not working. Come on. All right. 1895. Was that good? I'm happy that you said it was good because that's what we're doing. 1895. Okay. Now we have a time, and now we need a place. So randomly, let's pick London. So here are people who represent what some of London was like in 1895. People Oscar may well have known. As you come to know these people, you might be able to project in your minds a guess. Well, I wonder if he really knew a fill in the blank. There is one addition to your program, to the dramatis personae. The role of Mr. Bunbury will be played tonight by Sir Ralph Richardson. So, here we go. We're now going to find out, is it possible to be really earnest?
Did you hear what I was playing, Lane?
I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
I'm sorry for that. For your sake. Now, I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately, but I play with wonderful expression. As far as the piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I keep science for life.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of the science of life, have you got the cucumber sandwiches cut for Lady Bracknell?
Yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, Lane, I see from your book that on Thursday night, when Lord Shorman and Mr. Worthing were dining with me, 8 bottles of champagne are entered as having been consumed.
Yes, sir, 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment, the servants invariably drink the champagne? I ask merely for information.
I would attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I have often observed that in married households, the champagne is rarely the first-rate brand.
Good heavens! Is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I have very little experience with it myself. I've only been married once, and that was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
I don't know that I'm much interested in your family life, Lane.
No, sir. It's not a very interesting subject. I never think that myself.
Very natural, I'm sure. That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lane's views on marriage seem somewhat lax. But really, if the lower order don't set us a good example, what on earth is the use of it? They seem as a class to have absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure. What else should bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Alger.
I believe it is customary in good society to take up some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
In the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire?
Perfectly horrid. Never speaks of one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. Oh, by the way, Shropshire is your county, is it not?
Oh, Shropshire. Yes, of course. Hello. Why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such breakfast extravagance and one so young? Who is coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, that is all very well. But I am afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirts with you.
I am in love with Gwendolyn. I have come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you said you would come up for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
I really don't see anything romantic in proposing. It is very romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. One may be accepted, one usually is, I believe. But then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. If I ever get married, I'll certainly try to forget the fact.
I have no doubt about that, dear Alger. The divorce courts were especially invented for people whose memories are so curiously constituted.
There is no use speculating on that subject, dear fellow. Divorces are made in heaven. So please do not touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are ordered specially for Aunt Augusta.
But you were eating them all the time.
That is quite a different matter. She's my aunt. Have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is devoted to bread and butter.
And they will bread and butter it is too.
Well, my dear fellow, you need not eat as if you're going to eat at all. You behave as if you are married to her already. You are not married to her already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls never marry the men they flirt with. Girls don't think it's right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't. It is a great truth. It accounts for the extraordinary number of bachelors one sees all over the place. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my first cousin. And before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean by that, Algernon? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
Bring me the cigarette case Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room the last time he dined here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say you have had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you had let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was very nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I wish you would offer one. I happen to be more than usually hard up.
There is no good offering a large reward once the thing is found.
I think that is rather mean of you, Ernest, I must say. However, it makes no matter. For now that I look at the inscription inside, I find that the thing isn't really yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times, and you've no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case.
It is absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should read and what one shouldn't. More than half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I am well aware of that, and I don't intend to discuss modern culture. It isn't the sort of thing one should discuss in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, but this isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily. And you have said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you must know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes. Charming old lady she is too. Lives up at Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algy.
But why does she call herself Little Cecily if she is your aunt and lives at Tunbridge Wells? From Little Cecily, with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Some aunts are tall, some aunts are not tall. That is certainly a matter an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt should be exactly like your aunt. That is absurd. Now, for heaven's sake, give it back to me, Algy!
But why does she call you her uncle? From Little Cecily, with her fondest love, to her dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt, but why an aunt, no matter what her size may be, should call her own nephew her uncle, I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It is Ernest.
It isn't Ernest. It's Jack.
You have always told me it was Ernest. I have introduced you to everyone as Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look as if your name was Ernest. You are the most earnest-looking person I ever saw in my life. It's perfectly absurd you saying your name isn't Ernest. It's on your cards. Here is one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany. I'll keep this as a proof your name is Ernest if ever you attempt to deny it to me, or to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Ernest in town, and Jack in the country, and the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily should call you her uncle. Come on, old boy, you had much better have the thing out at once.
My dear fellow, you are talking exactly as if you're a dentist. It is a very vulgar thing to talk like a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a false impression.
Well, that is exactly what dentists always do. Now, go on. Tell me the whole thing. I must say that I have always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret Bunburyist, and I'm quite sure of it now.
Bunburyist? What on earth do you mean by a Bunburyist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to inform me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now, produce your explanation, and pray, make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there is nothing improbable at all about my explanation. In fact, it is perfectly ordinary. You see, the late Mr. Thomas Cardew, the old gentleman who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me, in his will, guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle from motives of respect which you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country, under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss PRISM.
Where is that place in the country, by the way?
That is nothing to you, dear fellow. You are not going to be invited. I will tell you quite candidly, the place is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that. I myself have bunburyed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now go on. Why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
My dear boy, I don't know if you'll be able to understand my real motives. You're hardly serious enough. When one is placed in the position of guardian, one must adopt a high moral tone on all subjects. Indeed, it is one's duty to do so. And being at a high moral tone can hardly be said to be conducive either to one's health or one's happiness. In order to get up to town from time to time, I have always pretended to have a younger brother of the name of Earnest, who lives in the Albany, who gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algernon, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious if it were either, and modern literature a complete impossibility.
It wouldn't be at all a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not your forte, my dear fellow. Don't try it. You should leave that to people who haven't been at university. They do it so well in the daily papers. What you really are is a Bunburyist. I was quite right in saying you were a Bunburyist. You are one of the most advanced Bunburyists I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother called Earnest, in order that you may be able to go up to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury, in order that I may be able to go into the country whenever I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. If it weren't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I wouldn't be able to dine with you at Willis's tonight, for I have really been engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know! You are perfectly careless about sending out invitations. It is so childish of you. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving an invitation.
You had much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I haven't the smallest intention of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine with her on Monday, and once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relations. In the second place, whenever I do dine there, I am treated as a member of the family, and set down with either no woman at all, or 2. In the third place, I know perfectly well whom she will place me next to tonight. She will place me next to Mary Farquhar, who always flirts with her own husband across the dinner table? That is not very pleasant. Indeed, it is not even decent, and that sort of thing is enormously on the increase. The amount of women in London who flirt with their own husbands is perfectly scandalous. It looks so bad. It is simply washing one's clean linen in public. Besides, now that I know you to be a confirmed Bunburyist, I naturally want to talk to you about Bunburying. I want to tell you the rules.
I am not a Bunburyist at all. If Gwendolyn accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother Ernest. Indeed, I think I'll kill him in an iron case. Cecily's a little too interested in him. He's rather a bore, so I'm going to get rid of Ernest, and I suggest you do the same with your invalid for an absurd name.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury, and if you ever get married, which seems to me extremely problematic, you will be very glad to know Bunbury. A man who marries without knowing Bunbury has a very tedious time of it.
If I marry a charming girl like Gwendolyn, and Gwendolyn is the only girl I ever saw in my life that I would marry, I certainly won't want to know Bunbury.
Then your wife will. You don't seem to realize that in married life, 3 is company, and 2 is none.
That's my theory, is the theory the corrupt French drama has been propounding for years.
Yes, and that the happy English home has proved in half the time.
Oh, don't try to be cynical. It's perfectly easy to be cynical.
My dear boy, it isn't easy to be anything nowadays. There is such a lot of beastly competition about. That must be Aunt Augusta. Only relatives or creditors ever ring in that Wagnerian manner. Look, now, if I get her out of the way for 10 minutes so that you may have an opportunity for proposing to Gwendolyn, may I dine with you tonight at Willis's?
I suppose so, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about meals. It is so shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, my dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I am feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Oh, dear me, you are smart.
I am always smart, am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not bad. It will leave no room for development, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I'm sorry we are a little late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Harbury. I hadn't been there since her poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. And now I'll have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
Won't you come and sit with me, Gwendolyn?
Thanks, Mama. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens! Lane! Why are there no cucumbers? I ordered them specially.
There were no cucumbers at the market this morning, sir. I went down twice.
No cucumbers?
No, sir, not even for ready money.
That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I am greatly distressed, Aunt Augusta, about there being no cucumbers, not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Harbury, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its color, from what cause I, of course, cannot say. Thank you. Quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I am going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She's such a nice woman, and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch them.
I am afraid, Aunt Augusta, I will have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight after all.
Oh, I hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to that.
It is a great bore, and I need hardly say a terrible disappointment to me. But the fact is, I have just had a telegram to say that my poor friend Bunbury is very ill again. They seem to think I should be with him.
It is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Oh yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, I must say, Algernon, that I think it is high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd, nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty in life. I am always telling that to your poor uncle. He never seems to take much notice, as far as any improvement in his ailment goes. I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me if you would be kind enough not to have a relapse this Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It's my last reception, and one wants something to encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season when everyone has practically said whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
I'll speak to Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, and I think I can promise you he'll be all right by Saturday. Of course, the music is a great difficulty. You see, when one plays good music, people don't listen, and when one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I'll run over the program I've drawn out, if you will kindly come into the next room for a moment.
Oh, thank you, Algernon. It is very kind of you. I'm sure the program will be delightful after a few explanations. French music I simply cannot allow. People always seem to think it improper and look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. German sounds to me a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed I believe is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me?
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray, don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else. And that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I am never wrong.
And I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I have often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I have ever met since I met you.
Yes, I am quite well aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you had been more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines and has reached the provincial pockets, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Earnest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Earnest, I knew I was destined to love you.
Do you really love me, Gwendolyn?
Passionately.
Oh, darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
Ernest, my own Ernest.
But you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest, do you?
But your name is Ernest.
Yes, of course it is. But supposing it was something else, do you mean to say you couldn't love me then?
Ah, that is clearly a metaphysical speculation, and like most metaphysical speculations, has very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life as we know them.
Personally, darling, to speak quite candidly, I don't much care for the name of Ernest. I don't think the name suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces the vibrations.
Well, really, I think there are many other much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, is a perfectly charming name.
Jack, no, there is very little music in the name Jack, if any at all indeed. It does not thrill, it produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is a notorious domesticity for John, and I pity any woman married to a man called John. She would probably never be allowed to know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolyn, I must get christened at once. I mean, we must get married at once. There is no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing.
Well, surely you know that I love you, and you made it known to me, Miss Fairfax, that you were not absolutely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't practiced. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so.
this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I must beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing has not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I am engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are nothing of the kind. When you do become engaged, I or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise, pleasant or unpleasant as the case may be. It should hardly be an arrangement that she should make for herself. And now, I have a few questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. While I am making these inquiries, you, Gwendolyn, will wait for me below in the carriage.
Mamma!
In the carriage, Gwendolyn. The carriage, Gwendolyn.
Yes, Mamma.
You may take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you're not down on my list of eligible young men, though I have the same list the dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together, in fact. However, I am quite prepared to enter your name, should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I am glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London as it is. How old are you?
29.
A very good age to be married at. I've always been of the opinion that a man who desires to be married should know either everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I am pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate, exotic fruit. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would probably serve a serious danger to the upper classes and lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What were the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death? Land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That's all that can be said of land.
I have a country house with some land attached to it, of course. About 1,500 acres, I believe. But I don't rely on that for my real income. No. As far as I can make out, the poachers are the only ones who get anything out of that.
A country house? How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
Of course, I own a home in Belgrave Square, but it is let out by the year to Lady Bloxham. Of course, I can have it back whenever I like, at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham, I don't know her.
Oh, I'm afraid she gets outburied. She's a lady of considerably advanced years.
Ah, nowadays that is no guarantee of respectability. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
The unfashionable side. I thought there was something. However, that would be easily altered.
Do you mean the fashion or the side?
Both, I presume. What are your politics?
Well, I'm afraid I have none, really. I am a liberal unionist.
Oh, they count as Tories. They dine with us or come in the evening at any rate. Now, for minor matters, what are your parents doing?
I have lost both my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born into what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise through the ranks of aristocracy?
You see, I'm afraid I really don't know, Lady Bracknell. The truth is, I had said I had lost my parents. It would be nearer the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
Yes, you see, the late Mr. Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of very kindly and charitable disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he had a first-class ticket to Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman with a first-class ticket to this seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, it was a rather large, ordinary handbag with a Persian pattern to it, buckles and handles to it, a rather large, ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what particular locality did this Mr. James Thomas Cardew find this ordinary handbag?
You see, it was at the cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him in mistake for his own.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the Brighton line.
The line is immaterial. I confess, Mr. Worthing, that what you have just told me has left me somewhat bewildered. To be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles on it or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life and remind one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to. As far as the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station could hardly be regarded as an assured basis for a recognized position in good society.
May I ask you then what you advise me to do? I need hardly say I would do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try to find some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce, at any rate, one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
Well, I don't see how I could possibly manage to do that. I can, however, produce the handbag at any time. I really think it should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I, or Lord Bracknell, would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel? Good day, Mr. Worthing.
Good day. Oh, for heaven's sake, don't play that ghastly music, Algernon. How idiotic you are!
Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say she refused you? I know she's always refusing people. It is a nature she has. I think it is most ill-natured of her.
Gwendolyn is right as a trivet. As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. It is her mother who is perfectly unbearable. Never met such a gorgon in all my life. I don't even know what a gorgon is like, but I'm quite sure that Lady Bracknell is one. She is at any rate a monster, without being, which is rather unfair. I apologize, Algernon. I suppose I shouldn't speak of your own nonsense or anything like that.
My dear boy, I love hearing my relations abused. It is the only thing that makes me put up with them at all. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people who haven't got the remotest knowledge on how to live, nor the smallest instinct on when to die.
Oh, it is nonsense.
It isn't.
Well, I won't argue with you about it. You always want to argue about things.
That is exactly what things were originally made for.
If I thought that way, I'd shoot myself. No. You don't happen to think that Gwendolyn might become like her mother in about 150 years or so?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. And that is his.
Is that clever?
It is perfectly phrased. And quite as true as any observation in civilized life should be.
Oh, I'm sick to death of cleverness. Everybody is clever nowadays. Everywhere you go, you meet clever people. The thing has become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had a few fools left.
We have
Fools? Why, I should extremely like to meet them. What do they talk about?
the fools. Oh, about the clever people, of course.
The fools.
Oh, by the way, did you tell Gwendolyn the truth about your being Earnest in town and Jack in the country?
Oh, the truth isn't the sort of thing one says to a sweet, refined girl. What extraordinary ideas you have about the ways to behave to a woman.
The only way to behave to a woman is to make love to her, if she is pretty, and to someone else if she is plain.
That is nonsense.
Well, what about your brother? What about the profligate Earnest?
Oh, by the end of the week I shall have got rid of him. I'll say he died in Paris of apoplexy. Lots of people die of apoplexy quite suddenly, don't they?
Yes, but it's hereditary, my dear fellow. It's the kind of thing that runs in families. You had much better say a severe chill.
And you are sure a severe chill is not hereditary, or anything of the kind?
Of course it isn't.
Very well then. Poor Earnest is carried off suddenly, in Paris, by a severe chill. That gets rid of him.
But I thought you had said that Miss Cardew was a little too much interested in your poor brother Earnest. Won't she feel his loss a good deal?
Oh, Cecily is not a silly romantic girl, I am glad to say. She goes long walks, has a capital appetite, and pays no attention at all to her lessons.
I would rather like to see Cecily.
I will take very good care you never do. She's excessively pretty, and only just 18.
Does Gwendolyn know you have an excessively pretty ward who is only just 18?
Oh, one doesn't just blurt these things out to people. I'm certain that Gwendolyn and Cecily will be extremely great friends. In fact, I'll bet you anything you like that a half an hour after they have met, they will be calling each other sister.
Women only do that when they've called each other a lot of other things first. Now, my dear boy, if we want to get to good table at Willis's, we really must go and dress. Do you know it is nearly 7?
Oh, it is always nearly 7.
Well, I'm hungry.
I've never known you when you weren't.
What shall we do after dinner? Go to the theatre?
No, I loathe listening.
Well, let us go to the club.
No, I can't stand talking.
Well, we might trot round to the Empire at 10.
No, I can't bear to look at things. It is so silly.
Well, what shall we do?
Nothing.
It is awfully hard work doing nothing. But I don't mind hard work when there is no definite object of any kind.
Miss Fairfax.
Gwendolyn, upon my word.
Algy, kindly turn your back. I have something very particular to say to Mr. Worthing.
Really, Gwendolyn, I don't think I can allow this at all.
Algy, you always adopt a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You are not quite old enough to do that.
Darling.
Ernest, we may never be married. From the expression on Mamma's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children have to say to them. The old-fashioned respect for the young is fast dying out. Whatever influence I had over Mamma, I lost at the age of 3. But although she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone else and marry often, nothing that she can possibly do can alter my eternal devotion to you.
Darling.
The story of your romantic origin, as related to me by Mamma with unpleasing comments, has naturally stirred the deeper fibers of my nature. Your Christian name has an irresistible fascination. The simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your carriage dress at the Albany, I have. What? in the country?
The Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire.
There is a good postal service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration. I will communicate with you daily.
My darling.
How long do you remain in town?
Till Monday.
Good. Algy, you may turn round now.
Thanks, I've turned round already.
You may also ring the bell.
Darling, you will allow me to see you out to your carriage, will you?
Certainly.
I will see Miss Fairfax out.
A glass of sherry, then.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Lane, I'm going Bunburying.
Yes, sir.
I shall probably not be back until Monday afternoon. You can put up my dress clothes, my smoking jacket, and all the Bunbury suits.
Yes, sir.
I hope tomorrow will be a fine day, Lane.
It never is, sir.
Lane, you are a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to give satisfaction.
She is the sweetest, most refined girl I've ever met in all my life. What on earth are you so amused at?
Oh, I'm a little anxious about poor Bunbury, that is all.
If you're not careful, your friend Bunbury will get you into a serious scrape someday.
I love scrapes. They're the only thing that are never serious.
Oh, that is nonsense. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Nobody ever does.
You must get all the germs of the transcendental terms and plant them everywhere. You must lie upon the daisies that discourse in novel phrases of your complicated state of mind. The meaning doesn't matter if it's only idle chatter of a transcendental kind. And everyone will say, as you walk your mystic way, if this young man expresses himself in terms too deep for me, why, what a very singularly deep young man this deep young man must be. Be eloquent in praise of the very dull days which have long since passed away, and convince him if you can that the reign of good man was culture's marvelous day. Of course you will poo-poo whatever expression you and declare it's crude and mean, for art stopped short in the cultivated court of the Empress Josephine. And everyone will say, as you walk your mystic way, if that's not good enough for him, which is good enough for me, why, what a very cultivated kind of youth this kind of youth must be. Then the sentimental passion of a vegetable fashion must excite your languid spleen. An attachment a la plate for a bashful young potato or a not too French bean. Though the Philistines may jostle, you will rank as an apostle in the high aesthetic band. If you walk down Piccadilly with a poppy or a lily, you'll be the evil hand. And everyone will say, as you walk your flowery way, if he's content with a vegetable love which would certainly not suit me, why, what a most particularly pure young man this pure young man must be.
Surely such utilitarian occupation as the watering of flowers is rather Moulton's duty than yours, especially at a moment when intellectual pleasures await you. Your German grammar is on the table. Pray, open it at page 15. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It isn't at all a becoming language. I know perfectly well I look quite plain after my German lesson.
Child, you know how anxious your guardian is that you should improve yourself in every way. He laid particular stress on your German as he was leaving for town yesterday. Indeed, he always lays stress on your German when he is leaving for town.
Dear Uncle Jack is so very serious. Sometimes I think he is so serious he cannot be quite well.
Your guardian enjoys the best of health, and his gravity of demeanor is especially to be commended in one so comparatively young as he is. I know no one who has a higher sense of duty and responsibility.
I suppose that is why he often looks a little bored when we three are together.
Cecily, I am surprised at you. Mr. Worthing has many troubles in his life. Idle merriment and triviality would be out of place in his conversation. You must remember his constant anxiety at that unfortunate young man, his brother.
I wish Uncle Jack would allow that unfortunate young man, his brother, to come down here sometimes. We might have a good influence over him, Miss Prism. I am sure you most certainly would. You know German and geology, and things of that kind influence a man very much.
I do not think that even I could produce any effect on a character that, according to his own brother's admission, is irretrievably weak and vacillating. Indeed, I do not think I would desire to reclaim him. I am not in favor of this moral mania for turning bad people into good people at a moment's notice. As a man sows, so let him reap. You must put away your diary, dear Cecily. I really don't see why you should keep a diary at all.
I keep a diary in order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life. If I didn't write them down, I should probably forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is the diary we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles the things that have never happened and couldn't possibly have happened. I believe memory is responsible for nearly all the 3-volume novels that Moody sends us.
Do not speak slightingly of the 3-volume novels, Cecily. I wrote one myself in earlier days.
Did you really, Miss Prism? How wonderfully clever you are. I hope it did not end happily. I don't like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
The good ended happily and the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means.
I suppose so, but it seems very unfair. And was your novel ever published?
Alas, no. The manuscript, unfortunately, was abandoned. I use the word in the sense of lost or mislaid. To your work, child, these speculations are profitless.
But I see dear Dr. Chasuble coming up through the garden.
Dr. Chasuble, this is indeed a pleasure.
How are we this morning? Miss Prism, you are, I trust, well.
Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache. I think it would do her so much good to have a short stroll with you in the park, Dr. Chasuble.
Cecily, I have not mentioned anything about a headache.
No, dear Miss Prism, I know that, but I felt instinctively you had a headache. Indeed, I was thinking about that and not about my German lesson when the rector came in.
I hope, Cecily, you are not inattentive.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
That is strange. Were I fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her lips.
Oh.
I spoke metaphorically. My metaphor was drawn from bees. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not returned from town yet?
We do not expect him till Monday afternoon.
Yes. He does like to spend his Sunday in London. He is not one of those whose sole aim is enjoyment, as by all accounts that unfortunate young man, his brother, seemed to be. But I must not disturb Egeria and her pupil any longer.
Egeria? I meant Miss Natasha, Doctor.
A classical allusion, merely drawn from the pagan authors. I shall see you both no doubt at evensong.
I think, dear Doctor, I will have a stroll with you. I find I have a headache after all. And a walk might do it good.
With pleasure, Miss Prism, with pleasure. We might go as far as the schools and back.
That would be delightful. Cecily, you will read your political economy in my absence. The chapter on the fall of the rupee, you may omit. It is somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side.
Horrid political economy, horrid geography, horrid German.
Mr. Earnest Worthing has just driven over from the station. He's brought his luggage with him.
Mr. Ernest Worthing beat forth the Albany West. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him Mr. Worthing was in town?
Yes, miss. He seemed very much disappointed. I mentioned that you and Miss Prism were in the garden. He said he was anxious to speak to you privately for a moment.
Ask Mr. Ernest Worthing to come out here. I suppose you'd better speak to the maid about a room for him?
Yes, miss.
I have never met any really wicked person before. I feel rather frightened. I am so afraid he will look just like everyone else. He does.
You are my little cousin Cecily, I am sure.
You are under some strange mistake. I am not little. In fact, I believe I am more than usually tall for my age. But I am your cousin Cecily. You, I see from your card, are Uncle Jack's brother, my cousin Ernest, my wicked cousin Ernest.
Oh, I'm not really wicked at all, cousin Cecily. You mustn't think that I am wicked.
If you are not, then you've certainly been deceiving us all in a very inexcusable manner. I hope you've not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being really good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Well, of course, I have been rather reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
In fact, now you mention the subject, I have been very bad in my own small way.
I don't think you should be so proud of that, though I'm sure it must have been very pleasant.
It is much pleasanter being here with you.
I can't understand how you are here at all. Uncle Jack won't be back till Monday afternoon.
That is a great disappointment to me. I'm obliged to go up by the first train on Monday morning. I have a business appointment that I am anxious to miss.
Couldn't you miss it anywhere but in London?
No, the appointment is in London.
Well, I know, of course, how important it is not to keep a business engagement if one wants to retain any sense of the beauty of life. But I still think you had better wait till Uncle Jack arrives. I know he wants to speak to you about your immigrating.
About my what?
Your immigrating. He's gone up to buy your outfit.
I certainly wouldn't let Jack buy my outfit. He has no taste in neckties at all.
I don't think you will require neckties. Uncle Jack is sending you to Australia.
Australia? I'd sooner die.
Well, he said at dinner on Wednesday night that you would have to choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
The accounts I have received of Australia and the next world are not particularly encouraging. This world is good enough for me, cousin Cecily.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
I'm afraid I am not that. That is why I want you to reform me. You might make that your mission, if you don't mind, cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I've no time this afternoon.
Well, would you mind my reforming myself this afternoon?
It is rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
I will. Oh, I feel better already.
You are looking a little worse.
Oh, that is because I'm hungry.
How thoughtless of me. I should have remembered that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Might I have a buttonhole first? I have never any appetite unless I have a buttonhole first.
Marchonier?
No, I'd sooner have a pink rose.
Why?
Because you are like a pink rose, cousin Cecily.
I don't think it can be right for you to talk to me like that. Miss Prism never says such things to me.
Well, Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You are the prettiest girl I ever saw.
Miss Prism says all good looks are a snare.
Well, they are a snare that every sensible man would like to be caught in.
Oh, I don't think I'd care to catch a sensible man. I shouldn't know what to talk to him about.
You are too much alone, dear Dr. Chasuble. You should get married. A misanthrope I can understand, a womanthrope never.
Believe me, I do not deserve so neologistic a phrase. The precept as well as the practice of the primitive church was distinctly against matrimony.
That is obviously the reason why the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. And you do not seem to realize, dear doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent Moderation. Men should be more careful. This very celibacy is quite the vessels astray.
But is a man not equally attractive when married?
No married man is ever attractive except to his wife.
And often I've been told not even to her.
Well, that depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman. Maturity can always be depended on. Ripeness can be trusted. Young women are green. I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruits. But where is Cecily?
Perhaps she followed us to the schools.
Oh, Mr. Worthing.
Mr. Worthing?
This is indeed a surprise. We did not look for you till Monday afternoon.
I have returned sooner than I expected. Dr. Chasuble, I hope you are well.
Dear Mr. Worthing, I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother.
More shameful debts and extravagance.
Still leading his life of pleasure.
Dead!
Your brother Earnest dead?
Quite dead!
What a lesson for him. I trust he will profit by it.
Dear Mr. Worthing, you have my deepest condolence. You have at least the consolation of knowing that you are always the most generous and forgiving of brothers.
Poor Ernest! He had his many faults, but it is a sad, sad blow.
Very sad indeed. Were you with him at the end?
No, he died abroad. In Paris, in fact. I had a telegram last night from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, it seems.
As a man sows, so shall he reap.
Charity, dear Miss Prism, charity, none of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to drafts. Will the interment take place here?
No. He expressed a desire to be buried in Paris.
Paris? I fear that hardly points to any very serious state of mind at the last. You would no doubt wish me to make some slight allusion to this tragic domestic affliction next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the man in the wilderness can be adapted to almost any occasion, joyful or, as in the present case, distressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, on days of humiliation, and festival days. The last time I delivered it was in the cathedral as a charity sermon on behalf of the Society for the Prevention of Discontent among the Upper Orders. The bishop, who was present, was much struck by some of the analogies I drew.
Ah, you mentioned christenings, I think, Dr. Chasuble. I suppose you know how to christen all right. I mean, of course, you are continually christening, are you not?
It is, I regret to say, one of the rector's most constant duties in this parish. I have often spoken to the poorer classes on the subject, but they don't seem to know what thrift is.
But is there any particular infant in whom you're interested, Mr. Worthing? Your brother was, I believe, unmarried, was he not?
Yes, yes.
People who live entirely for pleasure usually are.
It is not for any child, dear doctor. I'm fond of children. No. The truth is, I would like to be christened myself. This afternoon, if you've nothing better to do.
Indeed. But surely you've been christened already.
I don't remember anything about it.
Have you any grave doubts upon the subject?
I certainly intend to have. Of course, I don't know if the thing would bother you at all, or if you think I am a little too bold now.
Not at all, not at all. The sprinkling and indeed the immersion of adults is a perfectly canonical practice.
Immersion?
You need have no apprehension. Sprinkling is all that is necessary, or indeed I think advisable. Our weather is so changeable. At what hour would you like the ceremony performed?
Oh, I might trot round about 5, if that would suit you.
Perfectly, perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies to perform at that time. A case of twins that occurred recently in one of the outlying cottages on your own estate. Poor Jenkins, the carter, a most hard-working man.
I don't see much fun being christened along with other babies. It would be childish. Wouldn't hogwash find you?
Admirably, admirably. And now, dear Mr. Worthing, I would not intrude any longer into a house of sorrow. I would merely beg you not to be too much bowed down by grief. What seems to us bitter trials are often blessings in disguise.
This seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind.
Uncle Jack, oh, I'm pleased to see you back. Oh, what poor clothes have you got on? Do go and change them.
Cecily!
Dear child.
Uncle Jack, what is the matter? Do look happy. You look as if you had toothache, and I have got such a surprise for you. Who do you think is waiting in the dining room? Your brother!
Who?
Your brother Ernest. He arrived about half an hour ago.
Oh, it's nonsense. I haven't got a brother.
Oh, don't say that. However badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he is still your brother. You couldn't be so hard as to disown him. I'll tell him to come out, and you will shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
These are very joyful tidings.
After we had all been resigned to his loss, his sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My own brother in the dining room. I don't know what it all means. I think it's perfectly absurd. Good heavens!
Brother John, I have come down from town to tell you that I am very sorry for all the trouble I have given you, and that I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you're not going to refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing will induce me to take his hand. I think his coming down here disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. There is some good in everyone. Ernest has just been telling me about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, whom he goes to visit so often. And surely there must be much good in one who is kind to an invalid and leaves the pleasures of London to sit by a bed of pain.
Oh, he has been talking to you about Bunbury, has he?
Yes, he has told me all about poor Mr. Bunbury and his terrible state of health.
Bunbury. Well, I won't have him talking to you about Bunbury or about anything else. It is enough to drive one perfectly frantic.
Of course, I admit that the faults are all on my side, but I must say that I think Brother John's coldness to me is peculiarly painful. I expected a more enthusiastic welcome, especially considering it is the first time I have come here.
Uncle Jack, if you don't shake hands with Ernest, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never.
Well, this is the last time I shall ever do it.
It is pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation? I think we might leave the 2 brothers together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
We must not be premature in our judgment.
I feel very happy.
I beg your pardon, sir. There's an elderly gentleman wishes to see you. He's just come in a cab from the station.
To see me,
Yes, sir.
Parker and GRIBSBY, solicitors, Chancery Lane. I don't know anything about them. Who are they?
Parker and GRIBSBY? I wonder. Show the gentleman in at once.
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you think it all means, Jack?
Oh, perhaps they have come about some business for your friend Bunbury. Perhaps Bunbury wishes to make his will and wants you to be his executor. From what I know of Bunbury, I think it is extremely likely.
Mr. GRIBSBY.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
This is Mr. Ernest Worthing.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
Yes, I am Ernest Worthing.
Of before the Albany.
Yes, that is my address. Charming rooms, too.
I'm very sorry, sir. We have a writ of attachment for 20 days against you at the suit of the Savoy Hotel Company Limited for £762 14 shillings twopence.
Against me?
Yes, sir.
What perfect nonsense. I never dine at the Savoy at my own expense. I always dine at Willis's. It is far more expensive. I don't owe a penny to the Savoy.
Written is marked as having been served on you personally at the Albany on May the 27th. Judgment was given in default against you on the 5th of June. Since then, we've written to you no less than 13 times without receiving any reply. In the interest of our client, we have no option but to obtain an order for the committal of your person.
Committal? What on earth do you mean by committal? I haven't the smallest intention of going away. I'm staying here for a week. I'm stopping by my brother. If you imagine I am going up to town the moment I arrive in the country, you are extremely mistaken.
I am merely a solicitor myself. I do not employ personal violence of any kind. The officer of the court, whose function it is to seize the person of the debtor, is waiting in the fly outside. He has considerable experience in these matters, but no doubt you will prefer to pay the bill.
Pay it? How on earth am I going to do that? You don't suppose I've got any money, do you? How perfectly silly you are. No gentleman ever has any money.
My experience is that it is usually relations who pay.
Jack, you really must pay this bill.
Kindly allow me to see the items, Mr. GRIBSBY. 762.14.2. Since last October, when I am bound to say I never saw such reckless extravagance in all my life.
£762 for eating? That can be little good in any young man who eats so much and so often.
We are far away from Wordsworth's plain living and high thinking.
Dr. Churchill, do you consider that I am in any way called upon to pay this monstrous account for my brother?
I am bound to say I do not think so. It would be encouraging his profligacy.
As a man sows, so shall he reap. This proposed incarceration might be most salutary. It is to be regretted it is only for 20 days.
I am quite of your opinion.
My dear fellow, how ridiculous you are. You know perfectly well that bill is really yours.
Mine?
Yes, you know it is.
Mr. Worthing, if this is a jest, it is out of place.
It is gross effrontery. Just what I expected from him.
It is ingratitude. I didn't expect that.
Never mind what he says. This is how he always goes on. Do you mean to say now that you are not Mr. Earnest Worthing of Before the Albany? I wonder, as you are at it, why don't you deny being my brother at all? Why can't you?
Oh, that is absurd, my dear fellow. Of course I am your brother. That is why you should pay this bill for me.
I had better tell you I have not the smallest intention of doing anything of the kind. Dr. Churchill, the worthy rector of this parish, and Miss PRISM, in whose sound judgment I place great reliance, are both of the opinion that incarceration would do you a great deal of good. So too.
I am sorry to be forced to break in on this interesting family discussion. The time presses. We have to be at Holloway not later than 4 o'clock, otherwise it is difficult to obtain admission. The rules are very strict.
Holloway?
It is at Holloway so that detentions of this character take place always.
Well, I certainly am not going to be imprisoned in the suburbs for having dined in the West End.
The bill is for suppers, not for dinners.
I really don't care which it is for. All I say is I'm not going to be imprisoned in the suburbs for anything.
The surroundings of Holloway I admit are middle class. I reside myself in the vicinity. But the jail is fashionable and well aired, and there are ample opportunities of taking exercise at certain stated hours of the day.
Exercise? Good heavens, no gentleman ever takes exercise. You don't seem to understand what a gentleman is.
I've met so many of them, sir, that I'm afraid I don't. There are the most curious varieties of them, the result of cultivation, no doubt. Will you kindly come now, sir, if it will not be inconvenient to you?
Jack, you really can't allow me to be arrested.
Pray be firm, Mr. Worthing.
This is an occasion on which any weakness would be out of place. It would be a form of self-deception.
I am quite firm, and I don't know what weakness or self-deception of any kind is.
Uncle Jack, I believe you have a little money of mine, haven't you? Let me pay this bill. I couldn't bear the idea of your own brother being in prison.
I couldn't possibly let you pay, Cecily. It would be absurd. will never speak to him again, Cecily, will you?
Certainly not. Unless, of course, he speaks to me first. It would be rude not to answer him.
Well, I will take good care he does not speak to you first. I'll take very good care he does not speak to anybody in this house. The man should be cut. Mr. GRIBSBY?
Yes, sir.
I shall pay this bill for my brother. It's the last time I shall do anything of the kind. Remember that. How much is the wretched thing?
762.42. The cab will be 5 and 9 extra. Hired for the convenience of the client.
All right.
I must say, I think such generosity misplaced.
The heart has its wisdom as well as the head, Miss Prism.
Payable to GRIBSBY and Parker, I presume?
Yes, sir. An open check, please. Thank you. Hope I shall have the pleasure of meeting you again.
I sincerely hope not. What ideas you have of the sort of society a gentleman wants to mix in. No gentleman cares much about knowing a solicitor who wants to imprison one in the suburbs.
Quite so. Quite so.
By the way, GRIBSBY, you are not to go back to the station in that cab. That is my cab. It was taken for my convenience. You have got to walk to the station. And a very good thing, too. Solicitors don't walk nearly enough. I don't know any solicitor who takes sufficient exercise. As a rule, they sit in stuffy offices all day long, neglecting their businesses.
You can take the cab, Mr. GRIBSBY.
Thank you, sir.
I put Mr. Earnest's things in the room next to yours, sir. I suppose this is all right.
What?
Mr. Earnest's luggage, sir. I've unpacked it and put it in the room next to your own.
His luggage?
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaus, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay more than a week this time.
Merriman, order the dog cart at once. Mr. Earnest has been suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
What a fearful liar you are, Jack. I haven't been called back to town at all.
Yes, you have.
I haven't heard anyone call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duty as a gentleman has never interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree.
I can quite understand that.
Well, Cecily is a darling.
I'm not to talk of misguiding like that. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly ridiculous in them. Why don't you go out and change? It is grotesque to be in deep mourning for a man who is really staying with you for a week in your house as a guest.
You are not staying with me for a week as a guest or as anything else. You have got to leave by the 4:05 train.
I certainly won't leave you so long as you are in mourning. It would be most unfriendly. If I were in mourning, you would stay with me, I suppose. I should think it very unkind if you didn't.
Well, will you go if I change my clothes?
Yes, if you are not too long. I never saw anybody take so long to dress, and with such little result.
Well, at any rate, it is better than being much always overdressed as you are.
If I am occasionally overdressed, I make up for it by being immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous. Your conduct an outrage, and your presence in my garden utterly absurd. However, you have got to leave by the 4:05 train, and I hope you will have a pleasant journey back to town. This bundling, as you call it, has not been a great success for you.
I think it has been a great success. I'm in love with Cecily, and that is everything. love with Cecily, and that is everything. But I must see her before I go and make arrangements for another Bunbury. There she is.
I nearly came back to water the roses. I thought you were with Uncle Jack.
He's going to order the dog cart for me.
Oh, is he going to take you for a nice drive?
He's going to send me away.
Then have we got a part?
I'm afraid so. It's a very painful parting.
It is always painful to part from people whom one has known for a very brief space of time. The absence of old friends one can endure with equanimity, but even a momentary separation from anyone to whom one has just been introduced is almost unbearable.
Thank you.
The dog cart is at the door, sir.
It can wait, Merriman, for 5 minutes.
Yes, miss.
I hope, Cecily, that I shall not offend you if I state quite frankly and openly that you seem to me to be in every way the visible personification of absolute perfection.
I think your frankness does you great credit, Ernest. If you will allow me, I will copy your remarks into my diary.
Do you really keep a diary? I'd give anything to look at it, may I?
Oh, no. You see, it is simply a very young girl's record of her own thoughts and impressions, and consequently meant for publication. When it appears in volume form, I hope you will order a copy. But pray, Ernest, don't stop. I delight in taking down from dictation. I have reached absolute perfection. You can go on. I'm quite ready for more. Don't cough, Ernest. When one is dictating, one should speak fluently and not cough. Besides, I don't know how to spell a cough.
Cecily, ever since I first looked upon your wonderful and incomparable beauty, I have dared to love you wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly.
I don't think you should tell me you love me wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly. Hopelessly doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
Cecily,
The dog cart is waiting, sir.
tell him to come round next week at the same hour.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jack would be very much annoyed if he knew you were staying on till next week at the same hour.
Oh, I don't care about Jack. I don't care about anybody in the whole world but you. I love you, Cecily. You will marry me, won't you?
You silly boy, of course! Why, we have been engaged for the last 3 months!
For the last 3 months?
Yes, it will be exactly 3 months on Thursday.
But how did we become engaged?
Well, ever since dear Uncle Jack first confessed to us that he had a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you, of course, have formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prism. And, of course, a man who is much talked about is always very attractive. One fears there must be something in him, after all. I dare say it was foolish of me, but I fell in love with you, Ernest.
Darling. And when was the engagement actually settled?
On the 14th of February last. Worn out for your entire ignorance of my existence, I determined to end the matter one way or the other. And after a long struggle with myself, I accepted you under this dear old tree here. The next day I bought this little ring in your name. And this is the little bangle with the true lover's knot I promised you always to wear.
Did I give you this? It's very pretty, isn't it?
Yes, you've wonderfully good taste, Ernest. It's the excuse I've always given for your leading such a bad life. And this is the box in which I keep all your dear letters.
My letters? But my own sweet Cecily, I have never written you any letters.
You need hardly remind me of that, Ernest. I remember only too well that I was forced to write your letters for you. I wrote your ways 3 times a week, sometimes oftener.
Oh, do let me read them, Cecily.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. They'd make you far too conceited. The 3 you wrote to me after I had broken off the engagement are so beautiful and so badly spelled that even now I can hardly read them without crying a little.
But was our engagement ever broken off?
Of course it was. On the 22nd of last March. You can see the entry if you like. Today I broke off my engagement with Ernest. I feel it is better to do so. The weather still continues charming.
Why on earth did you break it off? What had I done? I had done nothing at all. Cecily, I am very much hurt indeed to hear you broke it off, particularly when the weather was so charming.
It hardly would have been a really serious engagement if it hadn't been broken off at least once. But
What a perfect angel you are.
You dear romantic boy. I hope your hair curls naturally, does it?
Yes, darling, with a little help from others.
I'm so glad.
You'll never break off our engagement again, Cecily?
I don't think I could break it off now that I've actually met you. Besides, of course, there is the question of your name.
Yes, of course.
You mustn't laugh at me, darling, but it had always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name was Ernest. There is something in that name that inspires one with absolute confidence. I pity any poor married woman whose husband is not called Ernest.
But, my own dear love, do you mean to say you couldn't love me if I had some other name?
But what name?
Oh, any name you like. Algernon, for instance.
But I don't like the name of Algernon.
Well, my own dear, sweet, loving little darling, I really don't see why you should object to the name of Algernon. It is not at all a bad name. It is, in fact, a rather aristocratic name. Half the chaps in the bankruptcy court are called Algernon. But seriously, Cecily, if my name was Algie, couldn't you love me?
I might respect you, Ernest. I might admire your character, but I fear I would not be able to give you my undivided attention.
Cecily, your rector here is, I suppose, thoroughly experienced in the practice of all the rites and ceremonials of the church.
Oh yes, Dr. Chasuble's a most learned man. He has never written a single book, so you can imagine how much he knows.
I must see him at once on a most important christening. On a most important business.
Oh.
I shan't be away more than half an hour.
Considering we have been engaged since February the 14th, and that I only met you today for the first time, I think it is rather hard of you to leave me for so long a period as half an hour. Couldn't you make it 20 minutes?
I'll be back in no time.
What an impetuous boy he is. I like his hair so much. I must enter his proposal into my diary.
A Miss Fairfax has just called to see Mr. Worthing on very important business, Miss Fairfax states.
Isn't Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing went over in the direction of the rectory some time ago.
Pray, ask the lady to come out here. I suppose Mr. Worthing will be back soon. And you can bring tea.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax, I suppose one of the many good elderly women who are associated with Uncle Jack in some of his philanthropic work in London. I don't quite like women who are associated with philanthropic work. I think it is so forward of them.
Miss Fairfax.
Pray, allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew. What a very sweet name. Something tells me that we are going to be great friends. I like you already more than I can say. My first impressions of people are never wrong.
How nice of you to like me so much after we've known each other such a comparatively short time. Pray sit down.
I may call you Cecily, may I not?
With pleasure.
And you will always call me Gwendolyn, won't you?
If you wish.
Then that's all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
Perhaps this might be a favourable opportunity for my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. Well, you've never heard of Papa, I suppose?
I don't think so.
Outside the family circle, Papa, I am glad to say, is entirely unknown. I think that is quite as it should be. The home seems to me to be the proper sphere for the man. Certainly, once a man begins to neglect his domestic duties, he becomes painfully effeminate, does he not? And I don't like that. Makes men so very attractive. Cecily, Mamma, whose views on education are remarkably strict, has brought me up to be extremely short-sighted. It is part of her system. So, do you mind my looking at you through my glasses?
Oh, not at all, Gwendolyn. I'm very fond of being looked at.
You are here on a short visit, I suppose?
Oh, no, I live here.
Really? Your mother, no doubt, or some female relative of advanced years resides here also?
Oh, no, I have no mother, nor in fact any relation.
Indeed.
My dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I'm Mr. Worthing's ward.
Oh, it is strange. He never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. I cannot say, however, that the news inspires me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cecily. I have liked you ever since I met you. But now that I know that you are Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot help expressing a wish you were, well, just a little older than you seem to be, and not quite so very alluring in appearance. In fact, if I may speak candidly,
Pray do. I think that whenever one has anything unpleasant to say, one should always be quite candid.
Well, to speak with perfect candor, Cecily, I wish you were fully 42, and more than usually plain for your age. Ernest has a strong, upright nature. He is the very soul of truth and honor. Disloyalty would be as impossible to him as deception. But even men of the noblest possible moral character are extremely susceptible to the influence of the physical charms of others. Modern, no less than ancient history supplies us with many most painful examples of what I refer to. If it were not so indeed, history would be quite unreadable.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn, but did you say Ernest?
Yes?
Oh, but it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian, it is his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
I'm sorry to say they have not been on good terms for a long time.
Ah, that accounts for it. And now that I think of it, I have never heard any man mention his brother. The subject seems distasteful to most men. Cecily, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing almost anxious. It would have been terrible if any cloud had come across a friendship like ours, would it not? Of course, you are quite sure that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon.
Dearest Gwendolyn, there is no reason why I should make a secret of it to you. Our little county newspaper is sure to chronicle the fact next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
My dear Cecily, I think there must be some slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcement will appear in the Morning Post on Saturday at the latest.
I am afraid you are under some misconception. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you would care to verify the incident, pray do so. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. I am so sorry, dear Cecily, if it is any disappointment to you, but I am afraid I have the prior claim.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn, if it caused you any physical or mental anguish. But I feel bound to point out that since Ernest has proposed to you, he clearly has changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into any foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand.
Whatever unfortunate entanglement my dear boy may have got into, I will never approach him with it after we are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion of this kind, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement? How dare you? This is no time for wearing the hollow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I have never seen a spade. It is obvious that our social spheres have been widely different.
Shall I lay tea here as usual?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many interesting walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Oh yes, a great many. From the top of one of the hills, quite close, one can see 5 counties.
5 counties? I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds.
I suppose that is why you live in town.
Quite a well-kept garden this is, Miss Cardew.
So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
I had no idea there were any flowers in the country.
Oh, flowers
cannot understand how anybody manages to exist in the country, if anybody who is anybody does. The country always bores me to death.
Ah, this is what the newspapers call agricultural depression, is it not? I believe the aristocracy are suffering very much from it just at present. It is almost an epidemic amongst them, I have been told. May I offer you some tea, Miss Fairfax?
Thank you. Detestable girl. But I require tea.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
Cake or bread and butter?
Bread and butter, please. Cake is rarely seen in the best houses nowadays.
Hand that to Miss Fairfax.
You have filled my tea with lumps of sugar. And though I ask most distinctly for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature. But I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my poor, innocent, trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there are no lengths to which I would not go.
From the moment I saw you, I distrusted you. I felt that you were false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
It seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I'm trespassing on your valuable time. No doubt you have many other calls of a similar character to make in the neighborhood.
Ernest, my own Ernest, may I ask if you are engaged to be married to this young lady?
To dear little Cecily? Of course not. Who could have put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. The gentleman whose arm is at present round your waist is my guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon?
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack!
Here is Ernest.
My own love.
A moment, Ernest. May I ask, are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To what, young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn!
Yes, to good heavens, Gwendolyn, I mean, Gwendolyn.
Of course not. What could have put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
I felt there must be some slight error, Miss Cardew. The gentleman who is embracing you at present is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief.
Oh,
Are you called Algernon?
I cannot deny it.
is your name really John?
I could deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked, but my name certainly is John. It has been John for years.
A gross deception has been practiced on both of us.
My poor wounded Cecily!
My sweet, drawn to Gwendolyn.
You would call me sister, will it not?
There is just one question I would like to be allowed to ask my guardian.
An admirable idea. Mr. Worthing, there is just one question I would like to be permitted to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is a matter of some importance to us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Gwendolyn, Cecily, it is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. Indeed, it is the first time in my life I've ever been reduced to such a painful position, and I am really quite inexperienced in doing anything of the kind. However, I will tell you quite frankly that I have no brother, Ernest. I have no brother at all. I have never had a brother in my life, and I have not the smallest intention of ever having a brother in the future.
No brother at all?
No.
Have you never a brother of any kind?
Never. Not even of any kind.
I am afraid it is quite clear, dear Cecily, that neither of us is engaged to be married to anyone. They will hardly venture to come after us there. No, men are so cowardly, aren't they?
This ghastly state of things is what you call bun-breeding, I suppose?
Yes! And a perfectly wonderful bunbury it is. The most wonderful bunbury I've ever had in my life.
Well, you've no right whatsoever to bunbury here!
Oh, that is absurd! One has a right to bunbury anywhere one chooses. Every serious bunburyist knows that.
Serious bunburyist? Good heavens!
Well, one must be serious about something if one wants to have any amusement in life. I happen to be serious about bunburying. What on earth you are serious about, I haven't the remotest idea. About everything I should fancy. You have such a trivial nature.
The one small satisfaction I have in the whole of this wretched business is that your friend Bunbury is quite exploded. Indeed, you won't be able to come down to the country quite so often as you used to, dear Alger. Quite a good thing, too.
Your brother is a little off-color, isn't he, dear Jack? You won't be able to disappear to London quite so frequently as your wicked custom was. And not a bad thing, either.
Well, I must say, as for your conduct towards Miss CRADEW, your taking in of a sweet, innocent girl like that is quite inexcusable, to say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
I can see no possible defense for your deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced young lady like Miss Fairfax, to say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I wanted to be engaged to Gwendolyn, that is all. I love her.
Well, I simply wanted to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
There is no chance of your marrying Miss CRADEW.
Well, there is not much likelihood, Jack, in you and Miss Fairfax being united.
Well, that is no business of yours.
But if it were my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business. Only people like stockbrokers do that, and then merely at dinner parties.
How you can sit there calmly eating muffins when we are in this horrible trouble, I can't make out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter will probably get on my cuts. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat.
I say it is perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all under the circumstances.
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I am in really great trouble, as anyone who knows me intimately will tell you, I refuse anything except food and drink. At the present moment, I am eating muffins because I am unhappy. Besides, I am particularly fond of muffins.
Well, there is no reason you should be eating them all in that greedy way.
I wish to have tea cake instead. I don't like tea cake.
Oh, I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.
But you have just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you. Under the circumstances, that is a very different thing.
That may be, but the muffins are still the same.
Oh, Algernon, I wish to goodness you would leave.
You can't ask me to go without having my dinner first. That's absurd. I never go without having my dinner. Nobody does. Except vegetarians and people like that. Besides, I have just made arrangements with Dr. CASUBLE to be christened at 5:45 under the name of Earnest.
My dear fellow, the sooner you give up that nonsense, the better. I have made arrangements myself with Dr. CASUBLE this morning to be christened at 5:30. I will naturally take the name of Earnest. Gwendolyn wishes. We won't both be christened Earnest. It's absurd. But besides, I have a perfect right to be christened if I like. There is no evidence I have ever been christened by anybody. Indeed, I should think it extremely probable I never was. And so does Dr. CASUBLE. It is entirely different in yours. You have been christened already.
Yes, but I have not been christened for years.
Yes, but you have been christened. That is the important thing.
Quite so. So, I know my constitution can stand it. If you are not quite sure about your ever having been christened, I think it dangerous venturing on it now. It might make you very unwell. You can't hardly have forgotten that someone very closely connected to you was nearly carried off this week in Paris by a severe chill.
But you see yourself, a severe chill was not hereditary.
It usedn't to be, I know, but I dare say it now. Science is always making wonderful improvements in things.
Oh, that is nonsense. You are always talking nonsense.
Jax, you are at the muffins again. I wish you wouldn't. I told you I was fond of muffins, and there's only one left.
But I hate tea cake.
Why on earth, then, do you allow tea cake to be served up for your guests? What ideas you have of hospitality.
Algernon!
not follow us at once into the house as anyone else would have done seems to me to show that they have some sense of shame left.
They have been eating muffins. That looks like repentance.
They don't seem to notice us at all. Couldn't you cough?
But I haven't got a cough.
They're looking at us. What effrontery.
They're approaching. That's very forward of them.
Let us preserve a dignified silence.
Certainly. It's the only thing to do now.
Bum bum ba-dum bum bum. Bum be dum da dum bum be dum da dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum. Bum be dum bum bum.
This dignified silence seems to produce an unpleasant effect.
A most distasteful one.
But we will not be the first to speak.
Certainly not.
Mr. Worthing, I have something very particular to ask you. Much depends on your reply.
Gwendolyn, your common sense is invaluable. Mr. Moncrief, kindly answer me the following question. Why did you pretend to be my guardian's brother?
In order that I might have an opportunity of meeting you.
That certainly seems a satisfactory explanation, does it not?
Yes, dear, if you can believe him.
I don't, but that does not affect the wonderful beauty of his answer.
In matters of grave importance, style, not sincerity, is the vital thing. Mr. Worthing, what explanation can you offer to me for pretending to have a brother? Was it in order that you might have an opportunity of coming up to town to see me as often as possible?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
I have the gravest doubts upon the subject, but I intend to crush them. This is not the moment for German skepticism. Their answers appear to be quite satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's. That seems to me to have the stamp of truth upon it.
I am more than content with what Mr. Moncrief has said. His voice alone inspires one with absolute credulity.
Then you think we should forgive them?
Yes! I mean, no.
True. I had forgotten. There are principles at stake that one cannot surrender. Which of us should tell them? The task is not a pleasant one.
Could we not both speak at the same time?
An excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Will you take the time from me?
Certainly.
Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our Christian names? Is that all? But we're going to be christened this afternoon.
For my sake, you are prepared to do this terrible thing.
I am.
To please me, you are ready to face this fearful ordeal.
I am.
How absurd to talk of the equality of the sexes. Where matters of self-sacrifice are concerned, men are infinitely beyond us.
We are.
They have moments of physical courage of which we women know absolutely nothing.
Oh, darling!
Darling! Lady Bracknell.
Oh, good heavens, the Gorgon!
Gwendolyn, what does this mean?
Merely that I am engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Come here. Sit down. Sit down immediately. Hesitation of any kind is a sign of mental decay in the young, of physical weakness in the old. Apprise, sir, of my daughter's sudden flight by her trusty maid, whose confidence I purchased by means of a small coin. I followed her at once by a luggage train. Her unhappy father is, I am glad to say, under the impression that she is attending a more than usually lengthy lecture by the University Extension Scheme on the influence of a permanent income on thought. I do not propose to undeceive him. In fact, I have never undeceived him on any question. I would consider it wrong. But of course, you must clearly understand that all communication between yourself and my daughter must cease immediately from this moment. On this point, as indeed on all points, I am firm.
I am engaged to be married to Gwendolyn, Lady Bracknell.
You are nothing of the kind, sir. And now, as regards Algernon. Algernon,
Yes, Aunt Augusta?
may I ask if it is in this house that your invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, resides?
Oh, no. Bunbury doesn't live here. Bunbury is somewhere else at present. In fact, Bunbury is dead.
Dead? When did he die? His death must have been extremely sudden.
Oh, I killed Bunbury. Afternoon. I mean, Bunbury died this afternoon.
What did he die of?
Bunbury? Oh, he was quite exploded.
Exploded? Was he the victim of a revolutionary outrage? I was not aware that Mr. Bunbury was interested in social legislation. If so, he is well punished for his morbidity.
My dear Aunt Augusta, I mean to say he was found out. The doctors found out that Bunbury could not live. That is what I mean. So, Bunbury died.
Well, he seems to have had great confidence in the opinion of his physicians. I am glad, however, that he took some definite course of action and acted under proper medical advice. And now, Mr. Worthing, may I ask, who is that young person whose hand my nephew Algernon is now holding in what seems to me to be a peculiar, very unnecessary manner?
That lady is Miss Cecily CARDEW, my ward.
I am engaged to be married to Cecily, Aunt Augusta.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Moncrief and I are engaged to be married, Lady Bracknell.
I do not know if there is something peculiarly exciting in the air in this particular part of Hertfordshire, but the number of engagements that go on seem to me to be considerably above the proper average that statistics have laid down for our guidance. I think some preliminary inquiry on my part would not be out of place. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected with any of the larger railway stations in London? I merely desire information. Until yesterday, I had no idea there were any families or persons whose origin was a terminus.
Miss Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, Gervais Park, Dorking, Surrey, and the Sporting Fifeshire, North Britain.
That is not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspire confidence, even in tradesmen. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I have carefully preserved the court guides of the period. They are open to your inspection, Lady Bracknell.
I have known grave errors in that publication.
Miss Cardew's family solicitors are Messrs. Markby, and Markby.
Markby, and Markby. A firm of the very highest position in their profession. Indeed, I am told that one of the Mr. Markbys can occasionally be seen at dinner parties. So far, I am satisfied.
That is very generous of you, Lady Bracknell. I also have in my possession, you will be pleased to hear, certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough registration, confirmation, and vaccination, as well as the measles, both the German and English varieties.
Ah, a life filled with incident, I see. Though perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. I myself am not in favor of premature experiences. Come, Gwendolyn, the time approaches for our departure. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I had better ask you, has Miss Cardew any little fortune?
Oh, only about £130,000 in the funds. That is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to have seen you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing. £130,000. £130,000, and in the funds. Well, Miss Cardew seems to me a most attractive young lady now that I look at her. Few girls of the present day have any really solid qualities, any of the qualities that last and improve with time. We live, I regret to say, in an age of surfaces. Come over here, dear. Pretty child. Your dress is sadly simple, and your hair seems almost as though nature might have left it, but we can soon alter all that. A thoroughly experienced French maid can produce a really marvelous result in a very brief space of time. I remember recommending one to young Lady Lancing, and after 3 months, her own husband did not know her.
And after 6 months, nobody knew her.
Kindly turn round, sweet child. No, the side view was what I wanted. Yes, quite as I expected. Your profile produces a really positive social profile. Very distinct possibilities there, yes. The want in our age is its want of principle and its want of profile. The chin a little higher, dear. The style is largely dependent on the way the chin is worn. They are worn very high at present. Algernon?
Yes, Aunt Augusta?
There are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the sweetest, dearest, prettiest girl in the whole world. And I don't care tuppence about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only people who can't get into it do that. But dear child, you do understand that Algernon has nothing but his debts to depend upon. But I do not approve of mercenary marriages. When I married Lord Bracknell, I had no fortune of any kind, but I never dreamed of allowing that to stand in my way. Well, I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cecily, you may kiss me.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell.
You may also address me as Aunt Augusta for the future.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
I think the marriage had better take place quite soon.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
To speak frankly, I'm not in favor of long engagements. It gives people the opportunity of finding out each other's character before marriage, which is never advisable.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell, but I must say this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's legal guardian, and she cannot marry until she comes of age without my consent. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more can one desire?
It pains me to speak frankly with you about your nephew, Lady Bracknell, but the fact is, I do not approve at all of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon? Impossible. He is an Oxonian.
I fear there can be no possible doubt about the matter. Earlier this afternoon, during my temporary absence in London, on an important question of romance, he obtained admission to my home by means of the false pretense of being my brother. Under an assumed name, he drank, I've just been informed by my housekeeper, an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brut 89, wine I was specially reserving for myself. Continuing his disgraceful deception, he succeeded in the course of the afternoon in alienating the affections of my only ward. He subsequently staked tea and devoured every single mother. And what makes his conduct all the more heartless is he was perfectly well aware from the first that I have no brother, that I have never had a brother, and that I don't intend to have a brother, not even of any kind. I told him so distinctly yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Worthing, I've decided entirely to overlook my nephew's conduct to you.
That's very generous of you, Lady Bracknell, but my own decision, however, is unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Come over here, sweet child. old are you, dear?
Well, I'm really only 18, but I always admit to 20 when I go to evening parties.
You are perfectly right in making some alteration in your age. Indeed, no woman should ever be entirely accurate about her age. It looks so calculating. 18, but admitting to 20 at evening parties. Well, it will not be very long before you are of age and free from the restraints of tutelage. So I do not think your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance.
Pray forgive me for interrupting you again, Lady Bracknell, but I think it is only fair to tell you that according to the terms of Miss Cardew's grandfather's will, she does not come legally of age till she is 35.
I do not think that is a grave objection. London society is full of women of their own free choice who have remained 35 for years. Lady Dumbleton is an instance in point. To my own knowledge, she has remained 35 ever since arriving at the age of 40, many years ago now. I see no reason why our dear Cecily should not be even still more attractive at the age you mentioned than she is now. There will be a large accumulation of property.
Algie, could you wait for me till I was 35?
Of course I could, Cecily. You know I could.
Yes, I felt it instinctively. But I couldn't wait all that time. I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anybody. It always makes me rather cross. I'm not punctual myself, I know, but I like punctuality in others, and waiting even to be married is quite out of the question.
Then what is to be done, Cecily?
I don't know, Mr. Moncrief.
My dear Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states that she positively cannot wait until she is 35, a remark I am bound to say seems to me to show a somewhat impatient nature. I beg of you to reconsider your decision.
Oh, my dear Lady Bracknell, the matter is entirely in your own hands. The moment you consent to my marriage to Gwendolyn, I will most gladly allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
But of course you must clearly understand that what you propose is out of the question.
Then a passionate celibacy is all that any of us can look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolyn. Algernon, of course, can choose for himself. Come, dear. We've already missed 5, if not 6 trains. To miss any more might expose us to comment on the platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christenings.
The christening, sir? Is not that somewhat premature?
Both these gentlemen have expressed a desire for immediate baptism.
At their age? The idea's grotesque and irreligious. Algernon, I forbid you to be baptized. I will not hear of such excesses. Lord Bracknell would be highly displeased to learn that that was the way in which you wasted your time and money.
Am I to understand, then, that there are to be no christenings at all this afternoon?
I don't think that, as things are now, it would be of much practical value to either of us, Dr. Chasuble.
I am grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Worthing. They savor of the heretical views of the Anabaptists. Views that I have completely refuted in 4 of my unpublished sermons. However, as your present mood seems to be one peculiarly secular, I shall return to the church at once. Indeed, the pew opener has just informed me that for the past hour and a half, Miss Prism has been waiting for me in the vestry.
Miss Prism? Did I hear you mention a Miss Prism?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I am on my way to join her.
Pray, allow me to detain you for a moment. This matter may prove to be one of vital importance to Lord Bracknell and myself. Is this Miss Prism a female of a repellent aspect, remotely connected with education?
She is the most cultivated of ladies and the very picture of respectability.
It is obviously the same person.
May I ask what position she holds in your household?
I am a celibate, madam.
Miss Prism, Lady Bracknell, has been esteemed governess and valued companion.
In spite of what I hear of her, I must see her at once. Let her be sent for.
She approaches. She is 9.
I was told that you expected me in the vestry, dear Canon. I have been waiting for you there for an hour and 3/4.
Prism! Come here, Prism. Prism! Where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, after the elaborate investigation by the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered at midnight, standing by itself in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained a 3-volume novel of more than usually revolting sentimentality. But the baby was not there. Prism, where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, I admit with shame that I do not know. I only wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mentioned, a day that is forever branded on my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in its perambulator. I had also with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag in which I had intended to place the manuscript of a work of fiction which I had written during my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction for which I can never forgive myself, I deposited the manuscript in the bassinet and placed the baby in the handbag.
But where did you deposit the handbag, Miss Prism?
Do not ask me, Mr. Worthing.
Oh, Miss Prism, this matter was of no small importance to me. I insist on knowing where you deposited the handbag that contained that infant.
I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station?
Victoria, the Brighton line.
I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, you will wait here for me.
If you are not too long, I will wait here for you my entire life.
What do you think this means, Lady Bracknell?
I dare not suspect, Dr. CASUBLE. I need hardly tell you that in families of high position, strange coincidences are not supposed to happen. They are hardly considered the thing.
Uncle Jack seems strangely agitated.
The guardian has a very emotional nature.
This noise is extremely unpleasant. It sounds as if you are having an argument. I dislike arguments of any kind. They are always vulgar and often convincing. I wish he would arrive at some conclusion.
This suspense is terrible. I hope it will last.
Miss Prism, is this the handbag? Examine it carefully before you speak. There is more than one life on the line, depending upon your answer.
It seems to be mine. Yes, here is the injury it received through the upsetting of a Gower Street omnibus in younger and happier days. And here is the stain on the lining caused by the explosion of a temperance beverage, an incident that occurred at Leamington. And here on the lock are my initials. I had forgotten that in an extravagant mood I had had them placed there. I'm delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It has been a great inconvenience being without it all these years.
More is restored to you than the handbag, Miss Prism. I was the baby who placed in it.
You?
Yes! Mother! a tale of repentance, wipe out an act of folly? Why should there be one law for men and another for women? Mother, I forgive you!
There is some error. There is the lady who can tell you who you really are.
Lady Bracknell, I hate to seem inquisitive, but could you kindly inform me who I am?
I am afraid the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. MONCRIEF, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Then I have a brother after all. I always said I had a brother. Cecily, how could you have doubted when I told you I have a brother? Dr. Chasuble, my unfortunate brother. Miss Prism, my unfortunate brother. Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother. Oh, Algernon, you young scoundrel. You'll have to behave to me with more respect in the future. You've never behaved to me like a brother in all your life.
Well, not till today, old boy, I admit it. I did my best, however, I was out of practice.
My own one! But what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you have become someone else?
Oh, good heavens, I had quite forgotten that point. Your decision on my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except in my affections. But a noble nature you have, Gwendolyn.
For the matter, I'd better be cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta, a moment. At the time when Miss Prism had left me in the handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
Then I was christened already. That matter is settled. All right, what name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Being the eldest son, you were naturally christened after your father.
Yes, what was his Christian name?
I cannot at present moment recall the general's Christian name, but I've no doubt he had one. He was eccentric, I admit, but that was in later years, and the result of the Indian climate, and marriage, and indigestion, and other things of that kind.
Algernon, can't you recall what our father's Christian name was?
My dear boy, we were never even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
His name would appear in the army list of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta?
Well, the general was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life. But I have no doubt his name would appear in any military directory.
The army list for the last 40 years are here. His delightful text should have been my constant study. Generals, yes. Magley, Maudsley, Oxbrum, oh my gosh, the names they have. Mavis, Markby, Bixby, Morgs, MONCRIEF. MONCRIEF, 1840, Lieutenant, Captain, Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel, General, 1869, Christian names. Ernest John. Gwendolyn, I always told you my name was Ernest, didn't I? It turns out it really is. I mean, naturally, it is Ernest.
Yes, I remember now. The general was called Earnest. I knew I had a particular reason for disliking the name.
Ernest, my own Ernest. I felt from the first that you could have no other name.
Gwendolyn, it is a terrible thing for a man to discover that all his life he has been speaking nothing but the truth.
I can, for I feel that you are sure to change.
Oh, my darling.
Letitia.
Frederick, at last.
Cecily. At last.
Gwendolyn, at last.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I've just realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.